Assassination Classroom Season 2, Episode 1. Crazy to think that this is the final season. This is the season that we kill Koro-sensei? Possibly? This is the season that we succeed, whatever that means. Very dramatic. This is very Nagisa. This is normal life in our assassination classroom where we try to kill our alien teacher. And new intro. Have we done away with the students dancing? I think we're kind of over being cool, right? We left that behind in the club. That was a look at what that looks like, how that goes. And it's kind of small. Cool song. What's with the cutouts? It was awesome. Is this the legendary assassin? Interesting. This is really cool. I like this a lot. That's such a great and dramatic way to start the second season, with a great prologue that's very familiar but also very well executed, really high tension, especially given the context of what we're coming into, and then a really, really cool, sort of moving musical intro. I love this line. Okay, it's really interesting because there's a couple meanings it could take simultaneously, and I mean, it could be all of them. I think if I heard this outside of the context of Assassination Classroom, I would think it's a love song. I think just because with pop songs in general, that's often a very safe bet. And it's talking in the second person, you know, do I really know you? How do I get your love? Then in the context of Assassination Classroom, it could be a dialogue between the students and Koro-sensei, because he's this ideal that they're chasing, something that's impossible, you know, they give form to their feelings. That's their attempts at being successful, and his stern words, or however they phrase that, reminding them of what they need to do. But then what's so cool is the one after that, which is actually they're talking to themselves, where it's something like them now versus what they know and feel they could be, what they're starting to feel they could be. And in there's all sorts of self-doubt, there's the challenges, the not being guaranteed of success, the fact that it's just never ending and unrelenting what they have to do in order to come anywhere close to what they hope for in themselves. But no matter what, they don't give up on that. They don't give up on who they are and who they know they can be. And then it's kind of capped off by these really poignant questions of like, did I ever really even know you? Did I even know what I was capable of? Did I even know who I was? I had all these preconceptions about what I was and what I was capable of, and maybe stories that I tell myself about. I'm this kind of person, I'm that kind of person. This is out of limits for me because I'm just not that kind of person. But maybe not. Maybe you can surprise yourself sometimes. And then, right on the heels of that, why are you so close and yet so far away? It's really cool. Why is it so palpable and yet so hard to capture? First period, Summer Festival Time by Hiroda Maehara.
夏休み強化合宿暗殺旅行も最終日
I don't know if I call it a vacation, but it was a memory. There will be memories made. Yeah, you couldn't participate actively. You had to just kind of be there in a ball. Do we need a test of courage after what just happened? Was that not like the biggest test of courage they were shot at? Oh? For whom? I'm a little bit alarmed. You dream of this as a kid, maybe? Well, it depends on who you're paired with. You just hope for any chance that luck will float in your direction and you get some alone time with your crush. But as an adult and a former teacher, I don't know if the teacher should be facilitating this, to try to read beyond the comedy element of it and into a humanizing aspect of Koro-sensei. He can't be a peer, but he wants to be a peer. And like I've said before in the show, that can get really weird depending on where it comes from. But I think for Koro-sensei, it comes from the fact that he just likes them. He really likes them. I'm with you on that, Nagisa. Nagisa also just fought Big Boss on a helipad with her friends' lives at stake. That was hardly a jump scare. I guess we've bonded. Yeah, it's like a haunted house. Yeah, I guess they bonded after that selection process in the last couple episodes. Man, he's really trying to cover every aspect of their lives.
怖くないって実は一番怖いんだなって初めて思った
I hope he elaborates on this a little bit more, but my best guess as to what he means is something like, it's not necessarily terrible to have strong emotions, because at least that probably means you're engaged and that you care about things, compared to like a numbness where you just don't feel anything. You're not really participating in the ebb and flow of your own life. The way I relate to it, at least, is that while there are a lot of things, actually it's really nice to not care about. In some cases, it maybe ends up being a fear of a different kind, which is just a fear of taking a leap. If there actually is something in the thing for you, to actually cross that line and admit it, in some way puts you on this sort of path of no return. And you find you actually care about it so deeply, and how much you care about it is so meaningful to you and so important to you and so earth-shattering that you don't dare allow yourself to admit that you care about it, and you work really hard to downplay its importance. I don't know if this is actually what Karma's saying, but it does speak to what I feel I've seen from his character, where like he kind of wants to play the role of, this is beneath me, you kids care too much about this exam, only to come face to face with how much he actually did care when he observed his own underperformance. Something like this I think is captured really well in Haikyuu with Suki. It's okay to like it. It's going to be a group effort. Okay, I think I see where this is going. What is your investment in this pro sensei though, for real? You just gotta take care of their whole lives before he dies. Can't leave anything to chance. Gotta inspire them in every hierarchy of need. Everyone's got their thing. Exactly. My thoughts exactly. Thump his own trap. That's great. I like how that's the scary thing. Sometimes people give the gifts they most want to receive. That is a real thing, actually, yeah. Adrenaline is a bond. That is what it is, isn't it? He's a parent to them all. Speak for yourself. It doesn't have to be sleazy. That was a little bit overboard. What was weird about it wasn't like, I don't know, the kids finding love or caring about who they end up with. It's more like the forced nature of it and the fact that that's not really his role. And unlike physical prowess and educational process-based wisdom, I don't think he's really an authority in the love department. Although we have had hints of a deep and tragic love. Oh, we got one couple. I will when I see one. Nah, but we've established she's gorgeous after that last arc. Obviously. She's not being subtle. What push? Shall we push a falling rock towards Earth? Gravity kind of does it for you. Yeah, but that's different. I got mixed feelings about this though, about like how this would actually play out. If somebody was a really good seductress, how well that would transfer. Two conflicting thoughts. One, I actually think there is something experiential about this. If you spend a lot of time seducing, you may not even know that it's a skill you've developed because a lot of this is subtle. In fact, I think maybe even a big part of it isn't the strategic choices you're making, but rather the fact that you don't need to make strategic choices. You're not thinking about anything. You're just kind of like flowing because you don't care, because you've done it so many times and you realize it's not life or death. It doesn't really matter how things go. It doesn't really matter if we say something stupid. It doesn't matter if they like you or not. If you've been in 10,000 interactions and some of them go well and some of them don't, and you know that like around the corner there's 10,000 more interactions, what are you pressed about this one for? But also, there is a real skill to it. And I think people who are in professions like escorting, for example, they pick them up. And it's kind of alarming what that skill difference looks like when you don't know what it is or haven't experienced it, and then suddenly you have the misfortune of stepping into it. It's just like anything. You don't want to step into the house of somebody who's practiced something a million times more than you, because you're going to get swallowed by the ocean. But then counterpoints, because those sort of people skills or social skills or whatever are unconscious largely for those people, if it becomes conscious in that way, suddenly you're a mess. If you lose that essence of not really being pressed, suddenly you're very pressed. The other thing is, I think people who, let's say, like work in these kind of industries, they get very used to it being of transactional nature. And so they miss things that are actually genuine. They don't learn like the real givingness of it. It's always a game. It's always tit for tat. It's always, I'm not giving one without getting two. And if they meet someone who is generally well composed, but doesn't like that sort of weird calculating aspect of it, the would-be seductor or seductress or whatever will give off just like a smell of being mercenary that can be off-putting to someone who like isn't into that. I think after you encounter someone like that in any kind of depth, you start to find yourself in situations where you can sometimes quickly identify it. Like, oh, I think he or she's in that line of work, which sort of further exacerbates that style and the sort of measured guardedness and transactionalness of the way they treat people. They start to segment their lives into people who can recognize it and they can engage in that game with, and people that they can't, who are just people to be avoided.
違うんすか？
あいつが世界クラスの堅物だから珍しかっただけよ。それでムキになって本気にさせようとしてる間に。
Oh, she's got it bad.
可愛いと思っちまった。なんか屈辱。
That's how it is.
積み上げた経験が邪魔で気持ちに素直になれないんだろうな。
They get to put it much more succinctly than I did. But yeah.
二人のためにセッティングしてやんぜ。
いいね。
How does he feel about this?
恋愛コンサルタント3年
Get out.
女教師が男と溺れる愛欲の日々
He's gonna make this so much worse.
まずさ、ビッチ先生、服の系統が悪いんだよ。
Maybe. It's a little bit obvious.
清楚っつったらやっぱり神崎ちゃんか。昨日着てたの乾いてたら貸してくんない？
Oh no, they turned to her for dry outfits.
ほら、服一つで清楚に。
They, yeah, it's not the clothing.
神崎さんがあんなエロい服着てた
You ruined my dress.
もういいや。エロいの仕方ない。
Like, I'll never wear it again.
同士の相性よ。
I don't know.
テレビの CM のあの人のことベタ褒めしてた。俺の理想のタイプだって。
彼女はいいぞ
He said this out loud? Man, we just have no boundaries.
おまけに3人もいる
Oh, his type is Power Ranger.
そこをあえて2人だけは烏丸先生の好物で。
烏丸先生、ハンバーガーかカップ飯か食ってんの見たことないぞ。
That's an opportunity. Save him from his life of ramen.
烏丸先生に原因があるように思えてきたぞ。
でしょでしょ。
I mean, he may just not be into you. Has anyone considered that? Has anyone considered Karasuma's feelings?
先生のおふざけも何度無情に流されたことか
Not related, but okay. They were just digging into him while he's not
と
here
にかく
and making plans for his love life without him.
女子はスタイリングの手伝いよ男子は2人の席をムードよくセッティングです
This is the biggest, most terrifying mission since that time someone poisoned all of our classmates.
なんだこれは
You have been lured into a date. It's similar to your assassination. It's a love assassination.
先生方は邪魔なんで。
If we can get this couple together, we maybe have a chance at killing Koro Sensei.
何なんだいきなり
You're a
最近の
target.
中学生の考えることはよくわからん
Does this give you a clue? Hopefully this clears it up somewhat. I was gonna say a turtleneck, but like maybe that, I don't know. Maybe nothing will work.
売店で買ってミシン借りてネット見ながらブランドっぽくアレンジした。
原さん、家庭科強いもんな。
One thing we've learned from the show is don't sleep on home ec.
こんなショール社交界じゃ使い物にならないし、テーブルセッティングも素人仕事。私が仕事で使ってきた一流の店とは雲泥の差。
It's not really important. Also, the humility is not important. Like, the class shouldn't matter at all. That's the same kind of transactional thinking that I was referring to earlier. Maybe you like some foods or environments more than others, but it's kind of like a different thing. It's not the point. It's not connected to the person. Like, if you really have a good thing going, you just do all of it or whatever the two of you want to do together. Sometimes it's good to go to nice restaurants that have really good stuff. Sometimes McDonald's is better. Off it, McDonald's is better. It just depends.
しかもプライバシーもへったくれもない野獣馬ども。
Yeah, that's weird.
でも何よこれ楽しいじゃない。
It does feel that way.
この堅物落としてみせるわ。
There's not enough room here for Karasuma's feelings. He's a person, you know? He's not a target.
いろいろあったなこの旅はだが収穫もあった
Copy that. Mission completed.
イリーナお前の力も頼りにしてるぞ
That's nice coming from him. I mean,
カラスマ
I hesitate to say I would love to get into this, but her character is really interesting. Why are you leaving?
好きよカラスマ。おやすみなさい。
Okay. Seems like something... Well, I don't know. Is it honesty or is it strategy? Being a little coy? It was awkwardness.
いつもみたいに舌入れろ舌
Like you always do.
深く考えるつもりはないそれが俺の任務だ
Over it.
覚悟しておけ2学期はなお一層ビシビシ期待
Look, if he's not there, he's not there. I don't know.
ところで最後の
Oh, there's a crack. It got in.
新しい
A little seed was
技の練習
planted.
は関心だな
I always sort of come back to this in these situations and shows. There's no need to really force it with like a big moment. You just spend time together and like you let things happen naturally. There's no like big move, you know. And actually, it's not only that that is just a more organic, natural path. I also think you maybe don't want it the other way. You don't want it to be on the result of some grand gesture. You don't want it to be something that you like earn in a moment when it's not there in the repeated day-to-day, moment-to-moment interactions. You want people to like you for who you are and also their projection of what they think you will be. And if that's genuine, that shows up repeatedly and frequently and is sort of always there. If it's like not there and then you execute this perfect plan and sweep someone off their feet and go out of your way to do something unnatural, what are they falling in love with exactly? What's your plan? You're just gonna like do that for a lifetime? This is one of the many ways in which the idea of impressing someone goes horribly wrong. Because if you try to put on a mask that you think somebody else will like, what happens when you're successful? You have to wear that mask for the rest of your life. You don't want that. They don't want that. No one wants that. And then also critically is not to say you're perfect the way you are and you'll find someone who likes you the way you are. The self-improvement thing, that's a constant of your journey always anyway. And that's a personal journey. It's not really growth if you're just copy-pasting what you think other people want to see with no actual real deep meaningful connection to it yourself.
厳しい性格だから大変だろう父さんだけ逃げたようで心苦しいよ
Did he really say bailing on you?
そんなことより
どうした急に黙り込んで
夏祭り
Koro-sensei just interrupting Nagisa's father dinner. You don't need a parent. I'm your parent. I'm a much better parent than your father, who admittedly is dumping a lot of his own baggage on you right now. Please let me off the hook, Nagisa.
ごちそうさま父さん
おいもういいのか
Nagisa, if I buy you sushi, will you pretend I'm not human scum?
明るくなったな渚
Okay, all right, that's a relief.
はあ祭り
Is it One Piece? One Piece Man. One Punch Man? One Piece. I'm all mixed up.
まいいけどはあどうせダラダラ遊んでたし
Studying. He was studying.
仕方ありませんまたいつでも殺しに来てください
It is tough organizing events, parties.
カラスマに聞いた話ではあの少年
Yeah, thanks for that. The clap maneuver.
日本に置いておくには惜しいものだが
Uh-oh. It's you.
生まれた時から私はいつも
Okay, Spike. This is sad?
恐れるなかれ死神の名
Oh, we just lost a character in what was otherwise a very fun, lighthearted, happy episode. I guess he's coming for us.
誰も来なかったら先生自殺しようかと思い
Dark.
ました
Dark Koro-sensei.
来ない方が正解だったか
There's a point.
射的で出禁食らった
They cleaned up.
なんと 0.05% 本当に当たりとあるのかな
Karma discovers carnival games being rigged.
分かったよ金返すから黙ってろ坊主ない
やいや
No, now we need a payout. Pay off. You might have gone into this knowing this was the outcome. Yeah, right there it is.
ナイフ切る感覚と結構近いぞこんなもんかな
What are you gonna do with
うち
them?
貧乏だから100円で1食
We're
分
gonna
浮いた
eat
のは
them.
ありがたいわそっか焼いて炒めてあげて
暗殺技術の繊細な部
Just
分が
bankrupting this whole thing, this whole
先
place.
生は商工会のテントでまんまとただ酒食らってるし
Huh, it's not an accomplishment. That's easy. I get fleeced for drinks all the time. Anime checkpoint unlocked. The summer festival. This reminds me of Kaguya-sama.
団体で暗殺に成功した場合は上乗せして払うこととする
Are we upping the
事実上の
bounty?
賞金アップ総額300億円
I mean, $100 million, roughly. 300 million. It's 200 million extra, but, you know.
2学期は案の定大波乱から幕を開ける
$0 to 100 million just, I don't know, psychologically feels more significant than 100 million to 300 million, even though 300 million is twice the increase. Yeah, up and downs, the ups of new romance, the downs of our friend being murdered. Little good, little bad. And new ending. We're going with crayon style this time. I went to touch it. It was warm. Nice, cute ending. Yeah, I can already feel this season is going to be different. I mean, it didn't become a different show from the end of season 1 to the start of season 2, but honestly, I think a lot of it is just the knowledge that it's coming to an end, that we're halfway through and now we're kind of like on the crescendo. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun or pleasant. I mean, we don't really want this. The kids haven't been able to face what this means. Then you have this new villain who we heard reference to before, but now is here and killing our teachers. One thing that hit me this episode that I think is really cool is that there's a lot of students and we don't have a lot of time. Like, I don't actually think we're going to get real in-depth looks at most of them, but there is sort of a palpable growing dynamic for them as a group where they feel a lot more adult and they feel a lot more cohesive as a group. And like, you can feel the concern and consideration they have for each other in their common purpose and through their shared experiences.